You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and my guest Stevo are going to talk about Patrick Williams and ask, is this Patrick Williams' last chance to prove that he's a starter at the NBA level? We're going to talk about all that plus more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I got a guest, Stevo, in the building. I'm excited to have in here Stevo, man, from Chi-Town Sports Central. He does a lot of things. Chicago Bears Central, Chi-Town Sports Central, Chicago Sky Central. You're doing a lot out there, man. Want to make sure that you guys know that today's episode is sponsored by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Steve, we're going to jump into the first topic today, and it's about Patrick Williams. And we know that Patrick Williams has always been like this polarizing topic for a lot of Bulls fans because drafted fourth overall has kind of never really hit the levels that a lot of Bulls fans were hoping initially when he was drafted. A lot of people look at now with DeMar DeRozan being gone that this is Patrick Williams' opportunity to really show what he can bring, maybe step up and take it to another level. I'm going to throw that to you first, but then also we're going to go to a conversation here. I want to ask you with Matas Buzelis and Julian Phillips and those players like that kind of now behind Patrick Williams, this may be Patrick Williams' last year to prove that he can be a starter. We know he can be a solid player in the NBA, but as far as starting, what are your expectations for P. Will coming into the season?
To assert himself. I mean, for one, it's a little tricky because this is a little weird little foot injury that he's going through. So we don't really have too many updates of how he's doing along the we know he's been out for a minute now. But when he does come back, we know what he's good at. We know one of the most positive things we could say about him from the time for him being a rookie to now that he's probably one of our most consistent and probably our best three-point shooter out the bunch. So we know that's going to most likely be there. The only thing we've been asking for is just be a little bit more assertive, be a little bit more aggressive. Now, people like me and some others, Bull fans, felt like DeMar and Zach and even Kobe to some degree could possibly be the reason why he's kind of passive in the moments. But then again, like when you just look at players, just physical players that doesn't have the skill set that Patrick Williams has, like an Aaron Gordon, PJ Tucker, people of that size, they just find ways to get buckets just playing ball. So like if he just figure out that element of just pass, like I even think like Michaela Onyeruede, like sometimes she just cuts, sometimes she just gets the rebound, turn around, fades because she just feels it. There's a feeling out process when it comes to Patrick Williams that I don't think he's unlocked yet. And once he unlock it, that's the type of player that we drafted at the fourth position. We all knew when we drafted it was a project. He was a six-man coming off the bench at Florida State with a ton of prospects with Scotty Barnes, Devin Vassell, and other players. And we know the program they typically run at Florida State: defense, make shots, play with a lot of effort, and that's what he brought to the league, and he's improved on that. But injuries are starting to get in the way, a little bit of confidence issues, and maybe just being a little bit of assertiveness. So that's what I'm just really expecting. Assert yourself. You have everybody out the way. Besides Kobe and Zach, next to them, you have the green light.
Yeah, I agree with that. He does definitely has this opportunity. And I always go back to like December of last year. That's when DeMar and Zach were out. And, Patrick Williams did step up. We saw him cutting to the bucket more. That's why I always say, like, when Patrick Williams, it's more about, like, just him being aggressive and assertive. You using that word is a great one for him because he just has to understand how to assert himself. Like, you're not always going to get a bunch of plays called for you to where you're the scoring option on those plays. But the thing that Patrick Williams can do as far as creating more opportunities, crash the boards, go after putbacks. Like, it's like 3 or 4 times a year Patrick Williams always does like one or a couple of putbacks that we look at it and we're saying, dang, I forgot he can get up like that. Like people forget Patrick Williams can get him if he wants to. Yeah.
You see one rebound with his head almost hit the rim, and you like, bro, when you try to go dunk somebody, you don't nearly jump as high. So yeah, like it is moments, it's flashes. Like, dude, if you just want to put your shoulder down against some of the people you're defending, you can do that. You just don't.
Yeah. He has to just be more, and that's when you're not, because he's still not, even on this team, he's not going to be the first or second option on offense. He may not even be the third offense, depending on how much Josh Giddey asserts himself offensively as far as scoring in the mid range and getting to the rim and things like that. Like Patrick Williams has to own it and own his position, and basically at times he's gonna, I got that, go up and get it, put it on, like yam it on somebody, slam it, like do those type of things, because he has so much raw skill still. And I don't know if he's waiting. I'm not saying necessarily that this is what he's saying, but like if he has to wait on Billy Donovan to decide to start calling plays for him, you're not going to get it anytime soon. You got to go out there and prove it. So
yeah, this is a league where you got to go take it. Like it's not gonna come to you. And for him to come into the league where he's coming into the league, seeing people like SGA, Ja, and Anthony, like I mean, of course they're on another level of caliber of type of player, but it's just the mindset of they came in here and didn't care how old they was. They was coming in to wreck and leave and come and take over. And that has to be your mindset. Like, yeah. And to some degree, you got to understand what coach you got. So we know Billy Donovan is not a guy that's going to always call plays for you. He's going to let you figure it out. And you're talented enough to figure it out, and you're physically gifted enough to figure it out. I just think now it's almost like I do appreciate the time he did with DeMar, because I feel like now the way he approached the game is so much at a skillful mindset, like he's trying to get the right shot, get to his spots. But there's times I'm just like, dude, you're 6'7", 240 pounds. Run him over. Like, exactly. Like it's that simple sometimes. Like, take over. Like those times where you was going against Cat at the end of the season, going against Timberwolves, the times in Milwaukee when you was by yourself, you just wreck shop. That's what you just got to do sometimes.
Yeah. I agree. 100% agree with you. And we'll see. Like, but the second part of this conversation, Stevo, I want to throw to you is like, is this Patrick Williams' last chance to prove that he's a starter? Like, if he's lost his starting position each of the last 2 years, I'm not going to count his second year because he got hurt and then he came back. At that point, Javonte Green had asserted himself. He came back with 7 games left. So that is what it is. But is this, like, if Patrick Williams loses the starting position this year, especially if a Matas Buzelis or Julian Phillips are the ones to step into that position instead of a 6'4" guard, do you think he's going to get it back?
As a starter here, yeah. Okay. This is his last chance, just because to me, with Matas coming in, I mean, of course, this year you're not expecting him to take a massive leap to where he's starting as a rookie, even though he could. But I think it's the combination of him being Matas, already more talented coming out. Like, he was listed as, if he probably went to college, he probably would have been a top 5 pick. He's more talented, and he has the mindset to go kill. That's something Patrick Williams didn't have and still don't have. So I can see by next year him taking a bigger jump to the point that we're having real considerations of putting him in the starting lineup. So, yeah, this is the year to go assert yourself. So you might have to put up close to 20 points a game. And I feel like you could do it with what's on the team right now. You just lost 25 points right there. I don't think Vooch is in it all the way. So I don't think Vooch is going to be the high volume player that he's been, or the second option per se. I think that might switch to Kobe, but or Zach per se. So yeah, I think this is the year that you got to assert yourself to make it known that you're gonna be the starting power forward for here on.
Yeah, and let's hope that he is. And the thing is too, like, regardless of, like, I think in a perfect world, Patrick Williams steps up this year. If Patrick Williams does step up, Matas Buzelis eventually comes in as a starter, and hopefully both those guys, and you have either one, whoever's the 3, whoever's the 4. Not going to get into the semantics of which one plays which position and get people riled up there, but like that would be the ideal situation for the Bulls, because you have 2 young guys that are both versatile forwards that you can't, like, that's where the modern NBA is going, is forwards that can play either position. You having those guys, and Matas Buzelis, while not a really good on-ball defender yet, he has the potential there maybe to be a better defender there, which is something we'll talk about when we talk about our expectations for Matas Buzelis. But overall for Pat this year, I know you said 20. I think a solid 14 to 16 points per game compared to what he did. And that's depending on what happens with Zach. And like you said, Vooch. If Vooch and Zach are both off this team by the end of the season, I really want to see Patrick Williams into the season really strong because, as long as he understands what he can do, once he understands how physical he can be, and if he unlocks that consistently, it's a different story for P. Will.
Yeah. My only thing is I just don't think it's going to be because watching Matas in the summer league, it wasn't a lot of plays called for him. He was just getting buckets. So I can see him sneaking near 13 points a game as a rookie. Okay. I can see him doing that. Like that's my thing.
He's gonna have that opportunity. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I also feel like Pat is going to have that opportunity where he's getting way more shots than he's ever seen. Like, yeah, you got Zach there, you got Kobe there. I think Giddey is really just going to be passing and getting to the rim for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, of course, he's going to be trying to incorporate that game where he's shooting the three, but when you have somebody like P. Will who's got the best clip on the team, I think with him shooting the threes and him being more assertive, he can scratch near 18, 17 points a game.
Let's hope so. I mean, listen, I've learned one thing that I have learned in this is not put a cap on anybody. And so it's up to Patrick Williams to show it. If Patrick Williams shows it, that's what we want to see. So let's hope that's what we get from P. Will this season.
He got to show it, though.
Yeah, he has a lot of opportunity too. But next up, we are going to talk about that young rookie, Matas Buzelis, and what our expectations for him are going into his rookie year. But first, got to get to the message from Gametime. All right, y'all. I understand. Listen, summer's coming to an end, but that does not mean that the live event stops. There's always comedy shows, something going on all year round, and Gametime can help you get there. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Right now, also with Gametime, they have the best ticket coverage in the industry. You could purchase a covered ticket, which is flexible through our customer service policy, and it's the best in the ticket industry. If you find a ticket in the same section or seat for less, Gametime will refund you 110% of the difference. Plus, when using Gametime, you can get a panoramic view of your seats in the audience so you can see exactly understand exactly what you're going to see when you're at the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. That's terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's Gametime. All right, y'all. Hey, we want to thank Stevo for showing up for your boy, man, and coming in talking to Bulls, man, because talking Bulls right now, any Chicago sport can be very, very stressful. Shout out to the White Sox for winning 2 games in a row, by the way. But Stevo, man, Matas Buzelis, man, he is the Bulls draft pick of this year, has a lot of expectations of himself, right? More than anything of him. He was kind of projected to go in top 5 by most mock drafts. Throw it over to you. What are your expectations for Matas Buzelis in his rookie year?
I'm really just be himself. Just acclimate to the speed, to the defense, to the IQ of the game that he's entering in. Mainly from a goal standpoint, figuring out the fundamentals and what he wants and get that shot together. I think that's something he's been figuring on. That's something we've seen in the summer league. And with the shooting coach, we seen what he's done. He's done wonders working with Kobe. He's done wonders rearranging and fixing up some shots with Ayo. So we see him in the gym. He's always with the gym. He's always posting with the gym. We know he a gym rat. So I want to see first game what his shot looking like now, because I know he's been putting in that work, but it's still going to be a process over the season. So I think we're going to see times where he's just working on that shot, and there's going to be games where he's shooting like garbage, and there's going to be times where he's stroking it. No diddy. But But yeah, I'm not really expecting much. I'm not expecting much winning wise from this team, but I'm expecting to be exciting. Highlights. Um, now he seems like a very confident player. So like we gonna see how confident he really is. Like, is he's gonna be a difference maker day one? Because there are players like that. And so I'm gonna just see. I'm gonna go game by game, see how it is. But I'm not expecting much. But I do think he's capable of getting 12, 13 points a game, and definitely gonna be in that rookie of the year conversation.
Definitely. And I think the Bulls have done something that they haven't done the best over the last few years, is that it seems like they prepared themselves to have to develop. Like by going out and getting Wes Unseld Jr., by going out and getting Dan Craig, two guys who have been in charge of player development with the Heat and the Nuggets in the past, that they can develop him. But the thing I look at with Matas is, and with every rookie that I look at, is like, all right, because it's hard to develop a lot in your rookie year. So what does Modest do that's going to be transferable in his rookie year? And I think him coming off on that bench unit with Ayo Dosunmu, Ayo was our best player in transition last year. Now that may be Josh Giddey this year, but Ayo was really good in transition as well. Matas Buzelis getting out and running, because he can start the break with rebounding, the way that he does get steals, right? He does get weak side blocks. His own ball defense needs work, but he does those things well. He runs. He finishes at the rim really nicely. Those things can translate. And I think early in the season, and we'll see how it develops over time, but like early in the season, while he's proving and the coaching staff are trying to see if he deserves those minutes, him doing those energy play things and him being out there with a player like Ayo, I think can do really wonders for him staying in that rotation throughout the season.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna catch a lot of people off in the half court game too, because for his size, he got a nice handle, and we see how shifty he can be. So I'm excited to see him in that. But most definitely that transitioning game. I think the transition game for this team as a whole is gonna be a key thing anyway, because it for the last 2 years it was like a car that you fix it up, and you just getting the last few pieces together, but you just need that last thing, because there was games where you just seen we wanted to run, but it was just 2-3 players that weren't running. Those players, one is gone, and just one. It's really one just remaining. So, I think you're going to see a lot more running this year.
Yeah, I think we'd be a lot faster. We were 28th, I think, in pace last year. I would not be surprised if the Bulls go from that to like still lower of the middle pack, maybe around 16, 17, 18. Yeah, somewhere around there. That's a huge leap up. And I think that, and a lot of that still because Vooch is still on this roster, players like that. But like, you look at that bench unit, Ayo, definitely in transition. Jalen Smith can get out in transition. Matas Buzelis is going to try to get out in transition. Julian Phillips is as well. Like, we could have a nice team as far as, ones that like to change that pace. The defense. So we're going to talk a little bit about the defense. How concerned are you for the on-ball defense for Matas Buzelis in his rookie year?
I mean, if you're not known for that come out of college, I'm concerned in general, because like, most people don't play, and for him, he's a scorer. He was known for being a scorer, and that's the common denominator with most great scorers. But the difference is he has the measurement and the athleticism to be a great defender. And we've seen times where he can play good team defense, and there's times where when he wants to play good on-ball defense, he can't. It's just he needs to work on it. So I'm not super concerned about it, but it is a concern that we can't ignore.
Yeah, it's definitely something like that you have to watch. But I think with Matas is so competitive. I'm not too worried about long-term defensively, because I think he gets cooked repeatedly. He's going to be like, hey, you're not going to keep cooking me on the defensive side of the ball. Like, he just has that mentality. And that's one thing that he has, like, over Patrick Williams, is that Matas has this personality where it's like, nah, you're not about to get that off on me. So I think that's something, as well as the physical makeup that he has with the length and things like that. Like, Matas Buzelis can turn into a solid on-ball defender. It's just what is that curve going to look like for him over his first couple of years in the league? But yeah, overall, like, I'm really excited about having Matas Buzelis on this team. I think that I know some people have some concerns on if Billy Donovan is going to play him or not. I'm not too worried about that. Are you worried about that aspect of it? If Billy Donovan's going to play him?
I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah,
like with it's a clear rebuild. So if he hasn't come to terms with it, I don't know. Like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Billy Donovan. So who knows? But like, it's not like he Tom Thibodeau where he don't play rookies at all. Like he plays rookies for the most part.
All right,
and it's a top rookie. Like this a top rookie that he's had. Like he all of the rookies I think he's had. What was it? Julian and Dalen and was it Ayo? That's all.
Pat, he did have Pat. Now Pat did start his rookie year, but that was in a situation where we had no talent on the team. But like, so I mean,
so Pat it's almost the same situation.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, we still got talent, but it's a little bit different. So I think Matas is going to play, and I think he's going to play well over the rookie year. And I think that his bumps and bruises may come early as far as on that defensive side of the ball. But you got to look at Matas. He pays attention to those passing lanes. That's going to be something we're missing with Alex Caruso being gone. I'm not saying he's going to be at that level. The 7'1" wingspan, the weak side block, the chase down blocks from Matas Buzelis are crazy if you go look at those highlights. So. I think Matas Buzelis is going to be really good.
The glass be sounding like somebody just shot something. I'll be like, God.
That's a fact. Next up, we're going to end the show talking about Ayo Dosunmu and what we expect his role to be next season for the Bulls. But before we get into that, I got a message from FanDuel. Sports are still going on right now. Football is back. And basketball is right around the corner. Baseball is still going on. We got the WNBA still going on, and college sports are right around the corner. We're about to be, for our sports fans, we're about to be in heaven. But FanDuel can make it even better for you guys. I know you guys have heard us talking about FanDuel a lot. It is America's #1 sports book. We got a little something different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with your YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. I keep telling you guys, this is one of the best deals you guys will find. I almost guarantee you're probably not going to find another deal as good as this later into the season. 3 weeks free of NFL Sunday Ticket. If you guys are football fans, there's no better deal out there. Just visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sportsbook. Again, that's FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. And that $5 bet can get you 3 weeks free of NFL Sunday Ticket. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap this on up. Ayo Dosunmu, I think this is a great way to end the show because Ayo stepped up so great for the Chicago Bulls last year as a starter. I think he started 37 games for the Bulls last season, averaged over 15 points per game on high efficiency shooting, over 40% from three-point range. Ayo Dosunmu took the leap that a lot of Bulls fans were hoping to see from him in his second year. He took all those bumps and bruises and came back in his third year and was exactly what we needed him to be. Now with the departure of Alex Caruso, who's gone, Ayo Dosunmu was kind of stepping into that lead guard role off the bench. But what do you think Ayo's role is going to be next season, Stevo?
I don't know. I had a direction of what I want to go with it, but the more I thought about it, and it went back to an interview. I don't know if you had it with Stacy. I think you did, or it's either Pat. One of y'all had it with him, and he said, "Bro, Ayo could be a real person in this league. Like he could be one of those guys." So and then just seeing that he took the time to really reconstruct his shot. Like not only it looks different, and it showed. He shot the ball way better than he did the years prior in his rookie year. Yeah. So to me, the sky is the limit to him. Like we don't know what he can be. He could be 6th man of the year, or he could be most improved player of the year. Who knows what he can be? Like him coming in the situation, he didn't know that was going to happen last year. He didn't know he was going to have to end up being the starter for a nice portion of the year, and he didn't. He took it on the head. He struggled at times, but we saw him bounce back multiple times. So when it comes to him, that's my mindset. He could be a real, I don't know if he will win 6th man of the year, but he would definitely qualify for that conversation. And he could take a bigger leap and possibly be most improved player of the year. I feel like he has the talent to do so. He showed he has the mentality, but most importantly, now he's showing that he has the worth ethic.
I agree with that. I agree with that hugely. Like, he's put in the work. We've seen him working with dribble too much and things this offseason. So he's definitely continuing to progress. And the thing that I like so much about Ayo is that no matter what role Billy Donovan threw at him last year, he found a way to succeed. He played 23% of his minutes at the small forward last year, which is crazy for somebody who came into the league as a point guard. And this year, he's probably going to do a little bit of all that too, because you look at the 1 through 3 for the Chicago Bulls, and the starting lineup is projected to be Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Zach LaVine. You can see Ayo playing next to any of those players. He may be kind of the glue guy that helps this lineup make more sense when they have to go to their bench, because he can play next to Kobe. We've seen that. He can play next to Zach LaVine. We've seen that as well. And I'd foresee him actually probably playing pretty well next to Josh Giddey, especially with his improved three-point shooting, over 41% last year. Like, with that and the way Josh Giddey likes to push that pace, having a player like Ayo Dosunmu, who started growing as a slasher last year, I can see that working out. So if all
he couldn't make a layup for nothing.
Oh, exactly, bro. Like, so many missed bunnies at the rim, especially in that second year. So, like, an Ayo Dosunmu that fits in that way, if that theoretical fit ends up becoming what we see in reality, Ayo Dosunmu, and I don't mean this by any hyperbole, he can be not the best Bull, and maybe that's even the case too, but he may end up being one of the most important Bulls next season for making things work.
It's funny that you said glue guy, because that was the way I was gonna go with this topic. But to me, the reason I didn't is because I felt like he was already the glue guy. With Caruso being gone, he moved right into that place of he's the next glue guy. Because outside of that, last year for the most part, it was him and Kobe. They was the most consistent outside of AC. So when it comes to somebody we looked for leadership, he's talking more than I've ever seen him from time he was at Morgan Park. This is the most I've ever seen him talk. So I think, I know I give a lot of flack to DeMar DeRozan, but one thing I can say, I feel like he done a lot for them as a professional and for a lot of these players, because Pat talk a little bit more now, and Ayo definitely talk a little bit more, way more. Kobe is the loudest on the court at some points. So yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with them times when he was in LA with DeMar. So yeah, like when it comes to Ayo, the sky's the limit. Who knows what he can be? He can be a star if he wanted to.
I agree. 100% agree with you there. And big expectations for Ayo Dosunmu as well coming into this team, man. Any last words, Stevo, before we get out of here? If not, tell them where they can follow you at.
Hey, I see it right there. Stevo Speaks on X. That's the same as well on IG. And y'all know I'm on NBA Central, Chicago Sky Central, Chi-Town Sports Central, most importantly, Bear Central, and whatever Central that is with a Central.
That's a fact, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning in and making Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at Locked On Bulls, and we will see you lovely and beautiful people tomorrow. Peace, y'all.